first ever episode of Enthusiast Garage.
I really wanted to start this series with an Audi Quattro. When I was a kid, Audi dominated rally car racing, IMSA racing, heck, anything they entered. Articles in magazines like Performance Car Magazine, which later became Evo, and this one in European Car, really caught my attention. And yeah, this Gobi Beige Quattro you see here, it's the one that got away. But let's not cry for the past. This whinflower yellow Coupe Quattro from the 90s is here. We're going to spend some time with it. So yeah, the S2 or Audi 90 Coupe Quattro, it was definitely a sea change from the Quattro. It offered a lot more refinement. It was a very rigid, fully galvanized chassis. And one of the reasons I wanted to cover this car is I think it's at the very bottom of its depreciation curve, which makes it a great candidate as a collectible classic.
The beginning of the 1990s, Audi really revamped their styling. Went in a completely different direction from the Quattro, which had just been a ravenous hit. They actually made that car through into the 90s with the 20-valve turbo engine. And this car got a little bit different engine. It got a 7A, which is a normally aspirated engine, but it's cammed up.
And along with a new engine, it came with a more ergonomic interior.
These cars were new. This steering wheel, I just was like, why don't we get that in the United States? The Coupe Quattro was actually one of the first Audis to come with an airbag. And you'll notice that this is the Audi Europe steering wheel.
And so you might ask, why would you do that? Why would you replace the airbag? Well, first of all, look at this steering wheel. It is a work of leather-wrapped art. And airbags at that time were not the best. They were slow to deploy, and by this time probably need replaced anyways. This car is fitted with a lot of nice features. It has multi-way power seats, contrasting stitching, has a revised all-wheel drive system, and the all-wheel drive systems in these early Audis, particularly this torsion unit with the locking diff, man, they were beasts in the snow. It also has a trip computer. It's loaded with front and rear fog lights, heated seats, memory seats. It's a very luxurious car for the era. And I love thoughtful touches like a completely designed lower dash area with footwell lighting. It's kind of a nice touch. The car has a real vault-like feel, which is kind of unique to cars from that era. Even the way this parcel shelf clicks right into position and holds there, the way these lights are scooped out so that the shut line when the rear deck closes is perfect. The Audi kind of redefined what you expect with regards to shut line, interior materials, and just workmanship. The Quattro had a prop for the hood. This one has a gas strut, has these washer jets on the headlights, completely new braking system with ABS. Now, I'm not a huge fan of ABS from this era, kind of clunky. They really innovated, even down to electronic fuel injection, although these Hitachi fuel injectors were a little bit of an issue. Which brings us to the fact that there's a real vibrant aftermarket for this car, and we're going to be installing a 034 turbo kit later this season.
When this car was launched, it actually, all the magazines and so forth that reviewed it at the time went on and on and on about how heavy it was. It was overweight compared with the Quattro. The irony of looking at this car today is that it weighs in at a hefty 3174. So by today's standards, obviously not too portly. Now, when I decided it was time to get a Coupe Quattro, I started looking, and I've looked for a long time before I found one that was even close to decent. The combination of Quattro all-wheel drive, pretty decent power at 167 was factory rating for the 7A 5-cylinder. It's one of those cars that it got driven a lot, and so a lot of these cars, it's not. If you look at the classifieds, if you look at a page like Audi Fans or Audi World, even like an Auto Trader or Bring a Trailer, a lot of these cars have 200, 300, even 400,000 miles. So when I thought, these cars are starting to creep up in value, I want to get one that's a collectible, that's got some worth. I had to look for quite a while. I ended up finding the car on Bring a Trailer, which is a great resource. If you're not familiar with Bring a Trailer, I definitely recommend checking them out. Bring a Trailer started as, basically by enthusiasts like us that just really wanted to feature those cars that were really special interest to the point where you needed a network almost to broadcast the car. Something rare like a Lancia 037 or something like that, where how do you even, if you got a barn find like that? They were great about putting light on those interesting cars.
So I feel really fortunate to be the custodian of this whinflower yellow Coupe Quattro. When you're looking for a used car and you see one that has all the hallmarks of what you would do with the car, it's got Michelin tires on it, it has aftermarket wheels, but they kind of are very similar to the original equipment wheel, that's when you know you found a keeper. With Tim's Enthusiast Garage, this is really what I want to do. I want to bring light to some of these appreciating up-and-coming classics that some of you may own, some of you may be looking for, and we're going to go through the same things. We're going to do the same repairs, the same modifications. We're going to add some power to this one, hopefully double the power with that 034 Motorsport turbo kit, and really get the most out of this beautiful Quattro. These cars are really meant to be driven, and that's what you want in your collection. It's a car that's meant to be driven. A car where you just can't wait for Saturday to roll around so you can go get in the garage, pull out that car, go for a drive. And that's really my sincere hope with this series, is that we'll become more enthusiastic about driving these cars, caring for these cars. We're going to do some driving events where we can even drive our cars together. And man, that's what it's about. Let's drive these things.